Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing NASCAR My Driver Career Mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day today. We are at Watkins Glen in all three series with quick results coming up on your screen right now from the Trucks and Xfinity series. As you'll see that roll across your screen, Moonhead aka Travis Brown of course picked up his first win here of the season in the Truck series. Sam Mayer on the other hand would win on the Xfinity side of things here for Watkins Glen. Now as we were coming into the about midway point of the season here on the Cup Series side of things, and when it comes to road course racing, you guys know the drill. We have a sprint race and a main race, and the top 10 in points in the sprint race get handed out points, with first place getting 15, second place getting 9, and then it goes down to 10th place who gets 1, so 1 point less per position there to round up the top 10. So unfortunately, you saw it right there. I qualified really rough for the sprint races. We've had a terrible record with the sprint races this season, and thank goodness this is the only season we're going to have sprint races, because they have not treated me well even from this road course racing background, a part of this career mode that we come from, as Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman would lead the field to the green flag down into turn 1 here on this opening opening lap here. Now it's crucial to gain as many spots as we can, and you see me 3 wide briefly there with Austin Cindric as well as Brandon Jones now actually go way wide even into the grass there, and I kind of had to check up and give up anything that I had gained, so I really didn't gain anything on the opening start of this race. Unfortunately, here's Chase Elliott already checks out over our teammate of Daniel Suarez, who's had a solid season right now. Suarez and myself relatively close to each other in points in the current situation that we are in. Hopefully we can have still an opportunity to finish in the top 10, but it's looking like it'll be a top 10 of the standings, I think, for us this season. We're not going to be a championship threat, which is unfortunate, but the championship's coming down between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, and it's just going to take one race for Kyle Busch to really eliminate the big point gap that he has. So he might be comfortable right now, but he can't be comfortable for long, especially when we have tracks like Talladega on the way and the big one, iRacing Super Speedway. I've done some testing at iRacing Super Speedway with the AI. I can tell you already there's going to be a few crashes and some big crashes likely there at iRacing Super Speedway. It's all about avoiding the chaos there, and that's going to be the biggest curveball race I think of the season, which could really shape the champion by the end of this thing. Now as you can see myself trying to make my way through traffic here, I'm struggling a little bit now, but we were at least faster than everybody around us here. Now I felt like honestly I had one of the fastest cars on the track there. An aggressive move on Kevin Harvick actually got into the right rear quarter panel of him. Bubba Wallace backed out. We were going to be 3 wide there into the final corner, but now you can see Ty Gibbs and Harvick having a bit of a moment here a few moments later, and I'm actually going to slip past Harvick in the carousel, and we're going to get alongside Ty Gibbs. Actually some contact there, door-to-door contact with Ty Gibbs. Already had a little bit of front-end damage from contact with Brandon Jones on the opening lap, but we get clear and ahead, and away we go from those guys. But actually as we came through to 3 laps ago into turn 1, Kevin Harvick, he fights back. He got past Ty Gibbs, and actually surprisingly kind of caught me off guard, outbrakes me down into turn 1, so we would actually lose that position there to Kevin Harvick, fall back down into 21st place through the bus stop though, right to the back of that 4 car once again, and I'm going to try and get to the outside of Harvick as we go down into the sweeping right hand carousel here and try to get up to his teammate of Chase Briscoe, surrounded by SHR right now with Briscoe, Harvick, Custer to my right hand side here as we exit the carousel now side by side, and actually some contact with Custer into the guardrail we go, and it's going to be a big accident in the sprint race into the barrier. That's going to be the end of our sprint race out of nowhere, and I just simply made a misjudgment on the exit of the carousel and moved a little bit to the right. My car got a little bit unsettled, and you'll see it right here. Got a little bit unsettled right there, and then I just kind of moved back to the right, and well, the 41 was obviously there. I didn't mean to, of course, turn into him, but obviously it had that repercussions right there. I was out of the sprint race. Chase Elliott would win the sprint race, 15 points to him. Daniel Suarez second, 9 points, and Hendrick Motorsports right here, all inside of the top 5. They get first, third, fourth, and fifth here as you see the rest of the field coming through to cross the line. So we would focus now on the main race, and unfortunately we had to start at the back now as the positions got shuffled around here after the sprint race, but it was 16 laps in this main race for a standing start here. They tried the rolling start actually in the sprint race here, but we would go lights out and underway here for the main race in Watkins Glen, coming after another terrible sprint race for us here this season. I don't think we've had a single good sprint race go our way, but you can see Kyle Busch here, the point leader, would start unfortunately on the front row. Stenhouse goes wide there on the exit of turn 1, leaving the door open for Joey Logano and his teammate of Ryan Blaney, as well as Austin Cindric to slip through on the inside here, as everybody is going to pile off here into the sweeping right and left S section here now, as I'm already gaining some positions. I gained about 4 or 5 spots on the opening corner as Cole Custer, he would hang on to the lead briefly here down into the bus stop, but you could tell right off the bat he was going to have a tough time holding on to that lead. Kyle Busch was putting pressure on him very early on, and it was just a matter of time until Kyle Busch was going to make a pass on that number 41 of Cole Custer, and it would happen as soon as the completion of lap 1. Custer taking a very defensive line here at the completion of this first lap. He leads the lap, but Kyle Busch is just going to simply outbrake Custer down into turn 1, sweep around the outside, and the point leader, championship leader Kyle Busch takes the lead of the race here now. And I mean, just couldn't ask for anything better for Kyle Busch here at this point now, as he's going to have an absolutely beautiful opportunity to increase that point lead once again going into these sketchy races that we're going to have coming up with Talladega, with iRacing Super Speedway. Now, next up on the schedule for us, though, is Las Vegas. Then we go to Iowa. Then we go to iRacing Super Speedway. So we might have a couple of more calm races, but Las Vegas, these mile and a halves here, we haven't had one in a little bit, but the mile and a halves can be pretty wild here in this iRacing career mode we've noticed here. But you can see myself here, I was on the move very, very quick here. You only got 14 laps to go. There is a green flag pit stop, or at least pit stop under whatever conditions necessary here. We don't have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. I did adjust the fuel mileage a little bit in these cars, and I put a 60% fuel tank in the car instead of a 50%. So previously I was just completely cutting it in half here. Now, as you can see, side by side through the bus stop there with Jeff Fabiano as we just continue on our way forwards. I was hands down, I think, not one of the fastest cars on the track. I was the fastest car on the track. Yeah, I was faster than Kyle Busch, who was leading this race, but unfortunately with the sprint race accident damaging the car so bad, we were forced to start at the back with a backup car that, well, we have not enough time really to be able to go run down Kyle Busch without a caution at least here. Now, oh, there you see Jay Cook getting into the side of our teammate of Daniel Suarez there, our rival Mr. Cook. Not surprising at all to see him run into the side of our teammate of Daniel Suarez in that good same number 99 Trackhouse Chevrolet as we would move on and then put the pressure on Cook here into this final corner. I said, you know what? It's not my situation here. Even though he messed with a teammate, I'm just going to go by him without any issues, as we would easily break into the top 20. We were flying. I don't think we've set this good of a pace all season long. We've, of course, had opportunities to win races and whatnot, but we still haven't been quite this fast. But unfortunately, I knew 11 laps to go. We just simply weren't going to have enough time to make it happen unless we get a caution, which we've seen at these road course races before. We have been able to get some cautions. To think back to the New Hampshire road course recently there, in the chaos there, where we saw Kyle Busch go up and over, Eric Jones go up and over, etc. Some drivers flipping their cars. Those would bring out cautions and whatnot here, but we continued to just focus on the task and at least try to get a top 10 out of this race here. Now, that would be one heck of a rebound now as we pass David Sheldhouse for 16th. We get up the inside of Stenhouse here down into the bus stop chicane, and that's going to be a now 15th position pass. And then Alex Bowman, we're making these passes look easy, even in the top 15 of this field as we cruise by that 48. Next objective would be Kevin Harvick here. Now, you can see Cole Custer, who was second for the longest time, actually finally gets passed by Denny Hamlin, as well as the 19 of Christopher Bell and the 45 of Ty Gibbs, who's having a top 10 run today. Best run he's had this season, certainly so far, as he's going to now be able to pass that number 41 car. You see that 14 of Chase Briscoe just behind him, but a little bit later on, Briscoe would actually fade down the order and actually would come into the hands of myself and Kevin Harvick here as we came through to just 8 laps to go already in this race. This race was flying by here, and we were, like I said, just continuously, you know, on the move up into 13th place and on the back of the 14. Actually gave him a little bit of a bump right there. Give the little bump and run here, but unfortunately didn't quite work out in my favor because I couldn't pass him. But I tried to outbrake him into the bus stop chicane, but go a little bit wide. They're a little bit too deep, and we actually are ordered by NASCAR to give up about a second and a half time, so I had to pull over, let Kevin Harvick go, and just give up that time there, so I did not get a penalty. So we had to fight back again here a few moments later. Lap 7 up the inside again of that number 4 of Kevin Harvick, and once again we'll complete the pass with no issues. And then moments later, going into the same corner, Todd Gilliland sails it off into turn 1, runs into the side of Austin Dillon, runs Almirola wide, and spins himself out there all by himself. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish right there, but no caution would come out. And with 5 laps to go, I would dive into the pit lane at the conclusion of that now 10th lap and come in, put fuel in the car, 4 tires and whatnot, and hope for the best here. Now, I wanted to pit before everybody else, so that way I didn't have traffic to navigate my way through on the pits, and I feel like this would actually be a tremendous strategy, because by the end of this same lap here, everybody, the whole field, pitted together pretty much. So I was going to cycle through and hopefully gain a handful of positions here, probably find myself well inside the top 10, because everybody's going to be stacking up on the pits, because look, there was 30 plus cars on the pit lane, and that's exactly what happened. Everybody was navigating around each each other, checking up and whatnot. I would pass a bunch of cars and get up to Cole Custer. This is for a top 5 position all of a sudden that we're fighting for late in this race. We have executed a perfect strategy here in this traction Camaro for Trackhouse Racing in this number 1 machine, and you can see the only cars in front of us were Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Ty Gibbs. We were P5 with the perfect strategy call here to pit a lap earlier than everybody else, so we didn't have to navigate our way through the traffic that was going to, of course, be checking up and just in the way. And now it was a hunt to run down that number 45 of Ty Gibbs, and we were closing in on Ty Gibbs very, very quick. 2 laps to go, and you can see the gap decreasing, and it wasn't long. On the long back straightaway here towards the bus stop chicane, he takes a very defensive line with 2 laps to go, and that opens the door wide open for me to get to the back bumper of that number 45 Monster Energy Toyota Camry there for 2311 Racing here. The rookie of Ty Gibbs, the rookie of myself are going to battle it out for this 4th position here. Kyle Busch, you look at, it's basically a JGR currently, 1, 2, 3, 4 right now with Kyle Busch, Bell, and Hamlin, and then the 2311 car of Ty Gibbs. But I want to spoil the party a little bit. It's similar to what we saw in the sprint race with one organization dominating the top 5 here now, as we're going to be alongside Gibbs here into the penultimate corner side by side for that 4th position. White flag is already going to be in the air for Kyle Busch here, who's had a dominating performance, took the lead at the end of the first and opening lap down into turn 1, and he hasn't looked back since. 7 seconds gap between him currently and Christopher Bell. Hamlin is right on the back of Bell. That battle's not over yet either now as we dive down into turn 1, still side by side. Gibbs, he's not going to give it up easy, and we got to respect the sportsmanship here. Great racing between myself and Ty Gibbs side by side into the S's one final time. You got to be really, really careful through here, and unfortunately maybe a little bit too careful, and I kind of backed out of it, and then I'm sideways there just hanging onto the car, but Gibbs looks like he's struggling as well, but we get cleared by that 45, and now he goes for, once again, a very defensive tone down into this bus stop chicane, although it wouldn't really be the smart idea because it allows me to do this right here, just hit the apex so much smoother, better than him, get the better angle, and we're all over the back. But unfortunately I make a mistake right there on the exit of the bus stop, but we're going to close back up through this carousel. Now he throttles up earlier, I go a little bit wide, and that gap lengthens between myself and that 45 machine, but we have an opportunity right here to get closer as Kyle Busch wins in Watkins Glen, and the battle continues on between myself and Ty Gibbs here as we close right up in this penultimate turn. We're going to look to the left hand side, try to go the long way around in this final corner. Contact between myself and Gibbs. We're alongside him here on the exit of the corner, but I just can't get the power down like Gibbs can. Ty Gibbs will hold us off in an awesome last lap battle right there for 4th. We cross the line still, and an unbelievable comeback here from the back of the pack for a 5th place finish. So we'll immediately get a points update on that as Kyle Busch still obviously remains on top with yet another win on the season. Joey Logano's 52 points out, Hamlin 95, Cindric, Alex Bowman, Larson, Elliott, of course myself down there in 10th. I actually lost 1 spot in the points to Brandon Jones, who picked up some good points there in the sprint race and whatnot. So we all have a lot of work to do. Like I said, 1 bad race for Kyle Busch again, and that brings Logano right back into the mix, so it still could get interesting there. And the next one, we head to 1.5 miles at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.